welcome back to my channel. I hope that you're doing well. Welcome to another video and welcome back to my Spring Into Readingathon TBR video. Today I just wanted to sit down and film a very quick, simple TBR for my Spring Into Readingathon prompts. If you guys do not know what Spring Into Readingathon is, it is a Seasonathon readathon that I host 4 times a year with the wonderful co-hosts Mel from Completely Melanie and Clint from Readers. Like I said, it's every season, so winter, spring, summer, and fall. It is time for the spring round, and this round we have our infamous bingo board. So I just wanted to share with you the books that I am going to be reading to hopefully, with all good things happening, cross my fingers, I read all the books I want to, I'll get an entire blackout. I am doubling up, tripling up on a lot of these prompts, so a lot of the same books you'll see, but I just wanted to document it and come back to it later, hopefully, and see if I've read all the books I was supposed to black out my bingo board. If you are interested in participating in the Spring Into Readingathon, it's not too late to join. I will leave all the information that you need down in the description box below, including the announcement videos, the Google Doc, the bingo boards, everything that you need will be down there if you would like to hop on the train and join us for this readathon. You do not have to get a blackout in order to enjoy the readathon. You can just do a simple bingo, whichever way you want to hit it. There's a lot of good prompts on here, so if you're at all interested, check the description. Alright, it's going to be a quick video, so without further ado, let's get into it. The very first prompt on the board is spring cleaning, and that is to read a book that's been collecting dust on your shelves. And for that, I chose 10% Happier by Dan Harris. This is a nonfiction book. The tagline says it all. How I tamed the voice in my head, reduced stress without losing my edge, and found self-help that actually works. A true story. So we shall see if the self-help works for me. Then for New Beginnings, that is to read a first book in a series, and for that I have This Woven Kingdom by Tahar Mafi. This is the first book in the This Woven Kingdom series. I don't know anything about this. I'm curious to give it a go. I have read Tahar Mafi's first fantasy series, Shatter-Me, or dystopian I should say, and I didn't love it, so I'm giving this author a second chance. Hopefully I will enjoy this one. I've heard really good things about this one as well as the sequel, so we'll see. Then for Wet T-shirt contests, that is to read a smutty book, and for that I'm going to be reading Flock by Kate Stewart, the first book in the Ravenhood series. From what I can remember when I read this the first time, it does have some smutty scenes. I wouldn't necessarily say this is a inherently smutty book, but it does have smut in it, so I'm counting it. Then for Road Trip, we have listened to an audiobook, and for that I chose Jacob by Jacqueline Frank, the first book in the Nightwalker series. I did read this one already on audiobook, so I get to check that one right off my list. And if you are interested in that particular book, we are hosting a read-along of this series called the Nightwalker series. It is a read-along that I'm doing with Becky over at Bex Reads and Jackie at First Lady Reads. If you are interested, we will be hosting a live show on my channel on the 26th of March, where we will read the first 3 books in the series and talk about them. So if you are at all interested, I will leave, of course, that information as well in the description box below. Then we have Let It Shine, and that is to read a book with an element on the cover, and for that I chose The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I actually picked this up on my TBR bingo for the same exact prompt, so I'm using this for branches that come out of the earth. Our next prompt is Stormy Weather, and that is to read a book that intimidates you, and I chose Fondalee's Jade Legacy, the last book in the Greenbone saga. It's 700 pages. It's chunky, and I'm also afraid that she's just gonna rip my heart out, so definitely one that intimidates me. Then we have Spring Fashion, that is to read a book with a beautiful cover. For that, I chose Things We Hide from the Light by Lizzie Score. I think this cover is absolutely stunning, and it's one of my most anticipated books of the year. For Rewind, that is to read a past Seasonathon group book or author, and for that I'm choosing TJ Klune. We did have him on, I think it was spring of last year's Spring Into Readingathon. He was our group book author. We read The Extraordinaries, and then I'm going to pick up Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune, obviously. This is the last book that I have by him that I have not read that is traditionally published. I still need to go back and read his self-published backlist, but I'm working on it. This is definitely one that I really want to read, and hopefully I love it. The next 2 prompts are going to go by quick because I've already talked about this book, but the next prompt is April Showers, read a book you think will make you cry, Under the Whispering Door. And then I'm also using this book for Luck of the Irish to read a book with green on the cover, and it does have green right there. Then the first non-reading prompt, and that is Self-Care, Take a Day for Yourself. And I can confidently say that I have already completed that prompt. Then for Prom Queen, we have read a popular book, and for that I read Daisy Jones and the Six. Again, can already take this one off of my list for this bingo board. Up next, we have the middle square, which is the group book, and that is Love on the Brain by Allie Hazelwood. I have already read this book, so I will not be adding it on to my very long list of books I need to read in February, but I will be reading the last short story that I need to read in her bind-up, Loath to Love You, and that is Below Zero. It's this one right here, and so I will be reading the last one that I need to read in order to complete Allie Hazelwood's entire backlist, I guess. Then up next, we have Spring Forward, and that is to read a sequel, and for that, I'm going to read Queen by Katie Robert. When I say I'm going to read, I've already read it, so again, checking that one off my bingo board. Then for Love is in the Air, read a book with a romance or a friend group, I'm choosing Seventh Circle by Tate James, the first book in the Hades series, a wonderful Why Choose romance, and I have already read this one. I'm so excited to do a reread. I cannot wait. Our next prompt is Over the Rainbow, and that is to read a classic, fairy tale, or a retelling, and for that I'm choosing Legend Born by Tracy Dion. This is a Arthurian legend retelling, so definitely works for the prompt. Then for Spring Break, that is to use a book that includes travel or vacation. I'm stretching this one a little bit, but I think it still works, and that is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. The characters of this book have to go on tour, therefore they are traveling. I think that counts as a traveling book. My favorite prompt on the board, that is to refresh your TBR. That is just to buy yourself a book or acquire a book in any way, from the library, from a friend, on your Kindle. Any way you want to acquire a book, that is a way to fulfill the prompt, and I'm just using this as a reason to show off my absolutely beautiful Illumicrate editions of the Crescent City series. Like, I'm dead. Then, because March is Women's History Month, we have Women's March, and that is to read a book with a strong female character, and for that I'm choosing Seventh Circle by Tate James. The main female lead in this book is one of the strongest, most badass female characters I've ever read about, so definitely works for the prompt. Then we have Friendship Bracelets, and that is to buddy read a book, and for that I'm going to choose Jade Legacy by Fonda Lee. I am buddy reading the last and final book with Karina. We have been reading this series together, so I definitely think that this will give me the extra motivation to finally finish up the series. Flower Power is our next prompt, and that is to read a book with flowers on the cover. Things We Hide from the Light definitely works for this prompt. Then we have ReLike An Aries, and that is to read a book under 250 pages, and for that I read Queen by Katie Robert. Tiptoe Through the Tulips, that is to read a book with pink or yellow on the cover. For that I am choosing Things We Hide from the Light, has both pink and yellow on the cover. Our last reading prompt, we have Spring Court, and that is to read a book featuring fairies, and for that I'm choosing A Dark and Hollow Star by Ashley Shuttleworth. I have read this book and can indeed confirm it does have fairies in it. And then our very last prompt is a non-reading prompt, and that is Tiny Umbrellas to make your favorite ice beverage. Simple as that. That is my TBR for Spring Into Readingathon. Hopefully I can get my Beautimous blackout board that I'm hoping for. This will give me even more motivation to finally pick some stuff up, and I can already say that I completed almost a whole group of things right here, so I will take it. I almost have a full bingo. I have Self-Care, which I've done, Daisy Jones and the Six, which I've done for popular book, the group book, which I've already read, read a sequel, Queen by Katie Robert, which I read. The last one I have to do is Love is in the Air by Tate James. I'm reading Seventh Circle, and that is a complete bingo. Now I just have to work on my blackout. I'm killing it. Let me know if you're participating in Spring Into Readingathon for this round. I would love to know down in the comments below. Let me know if you're going for a full blackout or which bingo you are pushing for and what books you're hoping to read for the prompts. I would also love to know if you've read any of the books I mentioned in today's video and what you thought of them. That being said, that's the end of this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. And of course, leave any comments, questions, and suggestions in the comment section below. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!